Hi there. Welcome to yet another episode of HealerBuddy's one-on-one live spotlight on one of our therapists. Today we have Amanda Martens yet again. This is a second spotlight, but for the benefit of our viewers, audience across LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also YouTube. I'm going to give a warm welcome to Amanda and ask her for a small introduction um, about herself and what she's going to speak today. Over to
Yeah,
you.
sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I am a counseling therapist that's working out of, I'm from Manitoba and I'm new with HealerBuddy. And I am working with couples and I also do individuals and teens. Yeah, I'm here to talk today about couples counseling a bit. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, she is with HealerBuddy, and some of the expert areas revolve around anxiety disorder, grief and loss of loved ones, stress, relationship conflict, infidelity and trust issues, premarital counseling. She is also well experted in somatic approaches, attachment focused, CBT, chronic health, teens, couples, mindfulness, self compassion. So today we are going to focus on relationship conflicts, and in particular, with respect to couples counseling. Uh, Audience, please feel free to share your thoughts, comments, and ask any questions while we are having a discussion. Um, so, Amanda, what is couples counseling?
Yeah, so couples counseling is a bit of a different animal than individual counseling. While in individual counseling, we're able to focus on things anywhere from like your past, your family of origin, different mental health issues, different goals that you have, right? Well, now it goes to the next level, and we're looking at okay, what's going on for the two members in this relationship? How are their behaviors affecting each other? And how do they contribute to the goals of the relationship? And so, couples counseling is a bit different. Something you may not know is that when you see a couples counselor, at least how I've been trained, when you see a couples counselor, it's actually not the two of you that are the clients. It's actually your relationship that is the client in this kind of a session.
Oh, interesting. Tell me, how is it different from individual counseling?
So, couples counseling is a bit different from individual counseling because we don't necessarily go too far just in one person of the couple's experiences, unless if it's really relevant to the conflict that's happening or to the goals that you'd like to have together. For example, what happens for your relationship when your spouse is, let's say, diagnosed with a mental health disorder? Maybe they finally figured out what it is, but now what does it mean for the two of you? And how can you relate well to each other in the midst of that? And so, if there was an individual type problem that was leading the need for the relationship to be supported through counseling, we would then have your spouse listening, and I can train different Well, and we'll find more about some of the things that we can do to learn together to support our spouse when there's something going on. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, what are some of the goals we can have in couples counseling, um, especially involving your spouse?
Yeah. Well, some of the goals we have do revolve around the basic skills that you need to be a healthy partner. So, some of those things can be things like learning how to listen and listen actively, learning different communication skills themselves, learning to be assertive, um, and learning how to use your conversation and the way that you listen so that you can build intimacy with your partner. Now, you can also have goals for your specific issues that you have when you walk in. But here's the big thing: what kind of way do we look at these problems, or how do we build these goals? And my main philosophy that I learned and has carried me thus far through couples counseling is this idea from a counselor whose name was Dan Weil. And he talks about this particular phrase. He says, solve the moment, not the problem.
What does that mean?
Um,
Solve the
yeah, it makes you curious, right?
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea being, I think everybody knows what's right to do often. Um, or they think it should just be easy to put the dishes away, to do these certain things. But instead of focusing on what your main issue is at the point, right? It's instead of the problem is just the top layer of what's going on. But how is your partner feeling when you speak to them like that? How are they reacting to you? It tells you something about where they're at. If you can slow down and savor what's happening for my spouse when we're having this conversation, and if under it all they're feeling scared or they're feeling backed into a corner, my job is to here to help you solve that moment so that you're listening to what's going on underneath and you're willing to put the problems on pause so that you can then listen, so that you can feel and gain empathy for your spouse. After a while, the problem itself isn't the problem. It's about the moment and how you love each other and how you support each other, even if, let's say you're in a co-parenting situation and you're going through a divorce. How do you manage to be on good terms with your spouse while all this stress is going on and not bring more stress, let's say, to any involved children? Well, even in divorce, using this kind of philosophy is helpful so that you can bring peace. And to me, that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Interesting piece of information. Never heard that before.
Hmm.
Um, do you have to be married to go to couples counseling?
Nope. We use some of these terms because they've been around for a long time, and I mean, that's how we communicate, right? But relationships are so diverse these days, and that's okay. Come with whatever you've got. Um, if you're willing to actually stop and make an appointment to see a counselor, it shows the respect and the care that you have for your partner and yourself. So you don't have to be planning to be married, or you don't have to be having everything figured out after you've been married for 10 years or 25 years or 50 years. Uh, Come as you are. Yeah, I'm excited to hear about your life and to work with you guys.
Interesting. So it could be even taken up by the to be couples, to be married. right?
Yeah. 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 And I do provide premarital counseling and relationship enrichment counseling. So there's options to utilize evidence based assessments and to try different programs. And I like to see what helps and what fits your relationship and what your goals are. Yeah.
Interesting. How can couples counseling help us communicate better?
Yeah. So I think almost every couple that comes to me says, well, we just don't communicate well. Okay. So what exactly is communication and how are there different ways of communicating? I mean, yes, we all think about the whole speaking part, right? And the whole this is my message and this is what I'm putting across. So for when you're speaking with your spouse, there's things that you can do like um, learning to learn learning to listen actively, working with uh, improving your way of speaking so that it's not coming from some type of wounded or victim mindset, like that you're actually being assertive, and that means I'm going to say respectfully what I need in this situation. um, you know, being able to identify patterns. So most couples have a pattern. Someone is usually pursuing. They're going at it quite aggressively, sometimes even, and the other person just feels like stepping away, backing off, or shutting down. And these are normal responses to stress that come from who we are as people. You know, your fight, flight, freeze responses, fawn if you want to keep going, and just people pleasing. And these are all ways that we can learn to work with them and figure out how can I help my partner to understand me better.
Did you say people pleasing to be avoided or to keep it?
Mm. So, people pleasing is a hot button topic these days. Um, the most recent stuff I've been reading, and that's actually been challenging me personally, is like, how often am I using people pleasing, not just to make it easier for myself, but as a way that we can actually, um, well, it ends up controlling a situation. It's pleasurable and it's palatable for other people to benefit off of our niceness, but are we actually being honest about what's going on for us, what we need, or are we using that as a way to get what we want? And so that's something that can be dug into as well, you know. What exactly is it that we're communicating, and are we communicating it on purpose? What are the the consequences of something like that, right? Everything we do has a consequence, ripples out, and so that's often what's going on for our couples too, is just seeing, okay, well, if we actually break down your patterns step by step, then we'll see, okay, when you have this kind of reaction, that triggers this in your spouse, right? So yeah, those things are important to kind of dig through together and just be curious about why things are the way they are and learn more about each other in the process. And so my job is to help you to dig in even a little bit deeper into what those things are, and I can help to provide some safety, and to help you guys have efficient and intimate and hopefully healing conversations. Yeah.
Interesting. So I have noted down three of them: good listening skills, being assertive, communicating with a purpose with your
Mhm.
partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being authentic. And in your in your counseling room, in your session, that's the place where you get to try stuff out, where we get to, help each other to have grace to learn together. Yeah. And that's regardless of if it's couples or individuals. Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm.
Um, I'm going to take away some good piece of tips from you.
Yeah.
Um, how do we know if couples counseling is right for us right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes we don't know. Like, how do we know it's the right time? Maybe this is really speaking to me, but it's not really speaking to my partner. Maybe they've never wanted to talk to someone about these things because they're a private person, right? So, how do we know if it's right? Well, number one, if there are issues that are affecting your relationship, whether it's anything from, oh, the kids are growing up and moving out, empty nest syndrome, or trying to navigate differences in parenting, uh, maybe there's been infidelity and you're not sure what to do, you know? Um, the challenges sometimes push us to do things that we normally wouldn't do, which, I mean, yeah, it's sad sometimes. It's hard. It's really hard when we have this picture of who we were changing, or if something has really upset it, right? Um, but that's not the only reason. And in fact, I would recommend coming to couples counseling when you have misgivings about something, and maybe even earlier than that. I mean, we know that there are challenges that come at different times in our life. And yeah, if you know that there's a new season coming up, be proactive, you know? Your spouse is worth pursuing even now. And it's okay if they change or if you change. But then come together, be authentic. Um, if you need help, couples counseling is here for you, right? Some other things could be if you're having goals together, if you're wanting to change your level of commitment, even if, let's say, you're going through divorce or you are co-parenting. Those are other situations where you may want to consider counseling together. Um, and then also, just even if one person feels like they're ready for it, and the other doesn't, you can come to counseling, and we have tools and resources that can help us to assess whether you are ready or not. And
Yeah,
it's not
that's
a bad thing if you're not ready. If you're ready, then we can do powerful and impactful work. If you're not ready, it's okay to wait a little bit. We're still going to be here, you know? Yeah.
yeah, that's the other question that we received. Um, we are talking about a good amount of hope, and assuming, not assuming, we are saying that both of them coming together and acting in a good manner. Um, but the question is, what happens if the other partner is unwilling to come for the counseling together,
Yeah.
or
Sometimes sometimes we are in that situation where, you know, they are just completely shut off from us, where we feel hopeless about these things. And where even bringing up the idea of doing couples counseling feels like it might make it worse. And you're right, sometimes that does. Like, change always affects things. And counseling, one of the risks of counseling is feeling more vulnerable, right? So it makes sense that they would feel that way, but also that you are hurt and you're feeling disappointed. And you are welcome to come on your own to speak with a couples counselor or with another therapist. Because whenever you're enacting change within yourself, it will affect your relationship.
Hmm.
People actually have similar similar questions when it comes to, well, I have a teenage daughter, and man, is she a handful, and I'm never getting her into the office with you. How are we ever supposed to have peace in our family, right? You as the parent can come, and we can help to coach you, right? Like there's other ways of attacking this problem together, right? Um, but in particular, for a partner who's not willing to come, there are things that you can do even outside of counseling that can help to soften them or prepare them. One of those things could be showing them a video like this so they have an idea what couples counseling might be like. I mean, this setup here that you see, this is exactly what you will see when you meet with me. Yeah, just
Awesome.
tucked into a warm corner. We meet here, it's face to face, and um, and then I can help, right? So sometimes it's just asking them just to show up once. But even if that's not working, some things that you can do is to really try to be understanding of where they're at, to put your fears, like they're still going to be there, right? So to just put your fears on pause for just a minute and just listen, giving them the space and showing them that you respect that that's what they believe they need right now, right? Um, there's a ripple effect that happens. And even if you can never get them to come, please come and try individual counseling because your pain and your needs matter too. Um, yeah,
Got it.
so
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure those takeaways after having a session with you would be positive and giving you better sense and direction and nurturing couples relationship with their partner.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have come to the end of the session, and it is time. I don't see any other questions either on LinkedIn or on other social channels. So yeah, I would recommend for a longer personalized session with Amanda, sign up at HealerBuddy.com and book a time with her. You can also do that by clicking on Start Your Journey and keying in couple counseling or relationship conflicts, anything related to couples, and she would pop up with other therapists. You can choose her. Please feel free to choose others too. And at
Mhm.
this juncture, I also want to tell you uh, our offer for this 2024 ends by December 31st, which is no sign up fee, no subscription fee, and you only pay for the therapist charges. Happy to have you, and we are here to help you. Amanda, do you have any personal giveaways or anything that you want to re-emphasize before we end the session and look forward for the next one?
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, I think it's important that you know that we're real people on the other side of the video camera here. And over the years, I've found that I am just as invested in my online clients as I am in person. It's just amazing the opportunities that we have these days. And if you're having trouble finding an in-person therapist, why not give online a try? Be comfy in your home, put your feet up. You know, I left mine on the other table, but normally I make myself a tea latte and grab a blanket and just talk. And we're
Absolutely.
excited to get to know you.
Absolutely. Our therapists are here to only help you. Please feel free and confident. It's a safe place. All of the comfort and convenience of yours, accessibility is provided to you at healerbuddy.com. Um, till next time, See you soon. Thank you very much once again.